Welcome to Life Her Podcast, the podcast that guides you from the 9-to-5 grind to the freedom of your own path. Discover how to conquer life's challenges while pursuing your passions with unwavering faith. Because being an entrepreneur is not easy. So let's get to it.
Hey everyone, I'm Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her Podcast. Today we are diving into a topic incredibly important, the urgent need for more children group homes. Right now, there are between 15,000 to 17,000 children in Ohio's foster care system, but only 500 to 600 group homes available to provide them with stability and care they need. This massive gap leaves so many children without nurturing places they call home. Joining me today is two of the one men. So only one of them is here with me, but he's working on that change. And Lidairious is a founder of Group Home Masterminds, as well as Jamone M. So there is an initiative dedicated to inspiring group homes owners navigating through the process of opening and operating successful group homes, ensuring that more children have access to safe, supportive environments. We're going to talk about their personal journey and even their group home industry and urgent need for more homes to take you step by step processing of opening one and how they built a strong business partnership in this business. I am amazing with so many things that they have going on. So, hey guys, how are you?
I'm well. How's your day going?
Everything is going good. You good?
Yeah, we great. So Jamal couldn't be here right now, unfortunately. Being in this industry, sometimes you gotta put out fires. So that's currently what he is doing. Not a literal fire, but he's dealing with a situation right now with the group home. So that took his full attention, unfortunately, at the very last minute.
Yeah, it'd be like that, don't it?
Man, when you least expect, oh,
Yes,
here comes
sure.
something.
So, can you share what inspired you to start a group home masterminds and also your journey into this field?
I will let us to start it as we see the need, we see the gap. First of all, I really didn't know too much about group homes until he, I guess, led me down this path. And he was led down this path by his wife and mother in law. And it just, for us, one, helped us to see that this, I guess, niche or whatnot in business is truly held up by Black women. You know what I mean? Black women are at the forefront of our social companies. You got to have empathy in fields like this, dealing with people, dealing with children, dealing with different mental disabilities, all those things. And so you don't really see a lot of men get involved. So one, we were driven by that. And then two, we also driven by the fact that we hopped in creating our own. And once we started learning about all the things that you have to do in order to keep the business flowing, it became one of our passions. We already had a desire to help young men and women, but it just elevated that, being able to work with them on a day-to-day basis. You go to sleep knowing that you got paid to do something good today.
Yeah, that's true. So, what are the challenges did you personally face when trying to open up a children's group home, and how did those experiences shape you in your mission?
For me, my biggest challenge was not knowing a single thing. This is nothing that they teach you in high school. They don't teach you in college, unless you're in it, boots on the ground. You really wouldn't know how to start one, how to run one. And the individuals that do have one and are doing well in this career field don't really like sharing the information. They're gatekeepers. So one of the biggest challenges was just learning everything and, bumping our heads, making the mistakes and picking up from that and growing. So,
Wow. That is amazing. So from you starting this group home and doing things, now, what were you doing before then? How did you two actually meet?
I, the world of finance, real estate, honestly. So I'm big on real estate, a degree in finance accounting and in commercial real estate. So I've done a lot in those areas. And I guess back when things were starting to break in America, per se, I mean, there weren't many jobs to find out here during the recession and everything. And so one of my biggest prayers was, Lord, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. I would pray that all the time. And I didn't know that, I would asking for that, but didn't do anything about it. You know what I mean? And he like, you want it, but you ain't opening up your hands and letting go of the things that you got in order to receive it. So here, since you want it so bad, he pushed me off the porch rather than jumping off. You know what I mean? I got laid off from my position, couldn't find jobs for months. And it's like, hold on, why are you going back and trying to look for a job when you said you want to own your own business? So I start, you know what? I ain't looking for a job no more. I'm gonna take this real estate thing serious. And I started learning about wholesaling. I started learning about fix and flipping. I got my realtor's license, start selling property and helping other individuals purchase their home. And then got to the point where I learned enough where I was doing deals with other individuals and doing fix and flips, and that's how I met him, being out here networking. We talked about a deal together, end up doing that deal, and then a couple more. I mean, and our friendship just grew around that. Like, here we are, two young black men in this organization where there ain't really a lot of us here either. So we kind of like banded together, you know what I mean? And knowing that we come from similar space. So that helped us, and we just grew our friendship along with our business. And I think it was around the COVID period that he was like, my wife wants to get into group homes and they need somebody with a degree. And I'm the only person in the room right now. So I'm going to be their director and start running it. And I'm like, well, tell me more about it. I mean, and I went up to his home after he got it off the ground and everything, grand opening and whatnot. I mean, saw the place, saw how well they were doing, and I was like, I want to get into something like this too. So I pretty much followed his blueprint into learning how to handle the policies and procedures and do things. And I used that whole space during the COVID period where we couldn't do anything to just educate myself and to build my own. So that's how I grew into it.
Wow, that is amazing. Especially just working together because you really don't hear that too much often. A lot of people gatekeep and they have trust issues. It's just so much that come with it when you have partnership or you trying to grow a business and venture off and go on your own or even stay together and come together. How do you guys stay connected and continue to working together as partners in this business?
I guess it's just that similar belief. The only way you're going to be blessed is to be a blesser. So, I mean, you can't expect to grow. I mean, you can grow, make millions of dollars, become this high in a level of your life by being selfish. There's plenty of people that show us examples of how you can do that and still build wealth. But is it true wealth? Are they truly happy? You know what I mean? There are a bunch of questions you could probably ask to that. But for us, it's just knowing that, when you help others, when you give, when you're being a blessing, that's when you receive a whole lot more. So there's no gatekeeping for us. We literally is like, he was an open book. And a lot of the mentors that I had outside of him, they've been open books. So it's like, if they are willing to share their wealth of knowledge with me, why wouldn't I be willing to share it with others as well and continue to do so? So
That's a blessing. That's a true blessing. What are some of the misconceptions people have about group homes and foster care system?
I just think they don't know. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, other than you saying the word group home, or that's a bunch of adults living together, quote unquote, or a bunch of kids, or a mother, single mother with children, you really don't know what a group home is, what it consists of. You don't know how people running them gets paid, things of that nature. You just have no idea about the social system, the Medicaid system, government resources. So a lot of people just assume because they don't know. And then they also hear about some of the negative things that you may have to deal with in running a group home. So they hear a lot about the conflict and the putting out fires, but little to nothing about the reward. So, I mean, it comes with both sides. And I just think it's just ignorance for people. They just don't know.
Yeah, that's true. So, how does Group Home Masterminds help aspiring group home owners to get started?
We literally take them on a step-by-step journey. So they come into our training, they literally come down and become a family member pretty much, because we try not to make it large classes, but rather, somewhat small, so that they feel like they got that personal interaction, because that's just who we are. Then being in an environment like that, you can feed off your neighbor as well, because everybody in this room is here for the same reason. And they may have as many resources as you, or they may have as little as you. But the point is we are all here together, we're growing together, and while we're here, let's share. So we bounce ideas off of one another. We ask as many questions as we can. We don't knock down questions like, oh, that's just stupid, because no, there, you really just don't know, and you gotta get things handled. And we just come together and we keep everything open, honest, transparent. And we've been using the word gatekeeper, like we literally do not gatekeep. We reveal it all. Like, no, you need to do this next. Oh, you missed that. Oh, and by the way, did you hear about the money or the grants or the funds for this? Those are things some organizations keep to themselves. The little jewels. But it's the jewels that make you successful. So we throw them out there.
Mm. So, what are the biggest barriers that stop people from opening up a group home, and how do you help them overcome those obstacles?
I think there are two barriers that we've seen, and it's one, you must have within your either board of directors or board of your members, you must have an individual with a bachelor's degree. Does not matter what field that is in, but somebody must have that degree. So that's a barrier from some people. And then you must too have a home. So you do not have to own this home. You can lease it. You can be in a creative financing situation with it, but you must have a property. So I think those are the two biggest barriers we see. And usually individuals end up being like, oh yeah, I forgot I got a cousin with a degree. And then they get their relationship back going, and or yeah, the house is the biggest issue. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then you in our world. I mean, we get to talking about creative financing, wholesaling, how we found a house down the street using a yellow ladder, and we sent the entire neighborhood letters saying we want to buy your home, and this person responded, and then the juices get to flowing on why not get into a lease option. Hey, you're working with individuals who know how to talk like that as well, so we won't let that be an excuse for us either. We can play Monopoly and go find a house. Houses are everywhere. That shouldn't be your biggest burden.
That is true, especially now with the economy is just, different and all. So it's true. However, if they're leasing or renting a home, how do they speak with the landlord in terms of them knowing exactly what they're going to be doing with the home? And also, how can you avoid that rent rising up during those times of you being in business as well?
One, you want to come out the gate being, say, 98% transparent, because you do not want to, per se, show your landlord what you can truly do number wise. That's none of his business. That's your business. So by doing that, you allow greed to stir up. So we're going to try to stay away from that and avoid that portion. But you can come to them and ask things in all fairness. Hey, I'm thinking about starting a group home here. I'd like to be put on a long-term lease with you. I'm thinking maybe 3 to 5 years for our contract, and you lock in your rent amount right then and there. I mean, so for the next 5 years there are no spikes, or if there are going to be increases, what's coming because it's written into your contract. Or you might even say to that landlord, put me in a lease option, so I'll give you this much down. Then I'll pay you monthly this amount. And in 5 years, when my business is well and my credit is better, I'll buy this house from you. So typically when you come at an individual directly and you have a game plan and they know what to expect, then signing that contract with you is not difficult.
So what are some of the most important legal and financial considerations when opening up the group home?
Well, I'm not going to get into legal. I'm not a lawyer, but I think I feel like you're asking me, like, what are some of the setbacks you're saying financially that I could come up against?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Just not having all the funds, probably, but starting off, you're a nonprofit organization. That's one. So as such, utilize that and ask your neighbor. So with being a nonprofit organization, you can utilize that tax exemption. So you're going in and purchasing things and you're not paying the taxes on it in the store. And then things are being gifted to you like any other nonprofit because people can write it off. So for example, we both had like whole bedroom sets gifted to our group homes when we first opened, or paintings and portraits and things like that gifted to us. Food, pantries everywhere for nonprofits. So that's gifted to you. Clothing and shoes. There are all kind of drives out here for children every day, all time, especially back to school. So those things are easy to purchase or get, and that's gifted to you. So it's kind of up to you to set yourself back if that's what you're going to do. Because, like, once again, you can be creative and figure out a way to get these things to build what you need. You don't have to have $1 million luxurious, well manicured home, you know what I mean,
Right.
for people to live in starting off. That could be your preference, but literally a person that was on the streets or a child without does not care about that. They just happy
Mm.
they got a roof over their head and food on their table.
Wow. So, can you share a success story of someone who went through your program and successfully opened up a group home?
Yeah, we have a few of them. We have ton of success stories on our website, grouphomemasterminds.com. If you go on there, you can see reels that we show, videos of individuals just giving us a shout out and saying thank you for helping me get started. The last individual that we helped get started was a young lady, and I believe from the Dayton area, and she literally moved out of her home. It was her home. So she, you know, this is her vision, her dream. She went forward by saying, I'm so determined in doing this that I'm going to go get an apartment and I'm going to turn my home into a group home. And so that's what she did. And that's her success story. She took the home she was in and she opened it up as a group home. Now she's making more than enough to go buy another. And the apartment she was living in, not too big of a setback for her. I mean, so it's a dream come true. And all she had to do was give up this one thing, you know.
Wow. So, what steps do you believe need to be taken to increase the number of quality group homes in Ohio and across the U.S.?
We need more trauma informed providers. So
Mm.
group homes are not like daycares. Like I know you have daycares, and you know you dealing with a whole different set of children. You know
Yeah.
yours come in cute and they mannered, or you can tell they mama or get they daddy on them. You know that phone call gonna put fear in them. And they please don't call my mama. Please don't call my dad. You know what I mean? You could deter things from that point of view because they have somewhat more of a structure. With us, these children are coming in from a place of lack, a place of defeat, place of loss. I mean, so you can't really use those tactics on them. They're already
Right.
broken. They don't have that individual to call on. So all you're doing by doing something like that is compounding trauma. I mean, so now they're ready to be combative with you. I mean, you just stirred up something. You didn't realize their mom or dad was dead or in jail. I mean, and you brought some emotional pains up. So things
Yeah.
that we have to do differently are, you know, learn how to deflect or learn how to bring the traumas down, learn how to put the fire out before the flames become too big. And so that's why I say we need to be more of a trauma informed community.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know even now from when I used to do my youth program, I had all inner city youth. A lot of them never even been outside of the side of their town, let alone going to another one. Or I used to take them to Cavs games and stuff like that. But they their mindset is different. You know, they on survival mode all the time. They are skeptical of many things, and not only that, you know, they don't have certain things that other kids have. So I know exactly what you mean as far as that. You have to be a special gifted individual to even work with children that has been brought up that way and actually have the love and passion for it. Do you find it difficult sometimes to even find workers to work for you like that?
That can be difficult sometimes because one of the things I said you have to do is be trauma informed. And so dealing with state policies, you have to have like a minimum of 52 hours a year in trainings. And that's like beyond the CPR and first aid. Now you're getting into being quality certified, dealing with social workers and nurses who must be on your staff. You know, that's a different quality education some people might not have. Or they don't have to be full time, but they're required to be members of your staff. Then, you know,
Mm.
trickling down, you need a house manager who's somewhat more trained than your STNA or your CNA or your direct support. But these individuals, you have to make sure when they come into your organization, want to learn, want to grow. I mean, because you're going to be constantly teaching them in order to help these children. We are able to provide restraint in our group homes, not with like harnesses or anything, but you know, uh, they're like CPI holds,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature that you can do, you know what I mean, when carrying people or getting them about situations that are harmful to others or yourself. I mean, so you got to learn how to do those things. You got to learn how to work with a teammate in order to do those things. You can't come in and have the mentality like, I don't want to learn, I don't want to grow, I'm just here for a check. Because the kids
Yeah.
gonna feel it. They gonna know that you that one staff member that don't care. I mean, and you the one they gonna turn up on the most. I mean,
Yep.
so they gonna feel you out. I mean, and before I can run you out of there or my supervisor can run you out of there, they will.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth? What does the shortage of group homes mean for children who don't get placed, and what kind of impact does this have on their future?
I literally picked up my first child from the county office, and the
Mm.
caseworker could not go home to her family because she couldn't find a resident for that boy. And so she spent the past week and a half sleeping on her couch watching him. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's one of the issues you're dealing with when you're dealing with these thousands of kids with no place to go. What you're not realizing is that there's a caseworker or a social worker somewhere that isn't able to go home to their family tonight. I mean,
Mm.
so they're going to sleep on that couch in that office and they're going to send out emails and phone calls day and night all over the country till they track down housing. And I
Mm.
mean, that's their job. So, I mean, that trickle down effect is huge. No, it affects those workers, then those workers get into a place of, I don't think I like this job. You know what I mean? And then they don't want to do that, or those career options people stop looking at. And, you know, all of these negative things begin to grow out of that. So,
Yeah. So, are there like any policy changes or legislative efforts to happen to be addressed in, like, as far as this crisis?
they really aren't, honestly.
Wow.
The system is the system in America is the system in America. So I say that by saying, with our current cabinet, whatever. You have individuals being driven out of the country, and a lot of those resources for a period of time were given to them. They were able to utilize. When you drive a Dominican boy, his family up out of the country, and the father had to go, the mother had to go, the auntie had to go, but you let him stay. What you don't realize is that you just created a system problem, because who he's supposed to stay with? So now here is a case of homelessness and displacement that we created. I mean, on top of all of our other issues, they're in here for their parents were addicts, suicidal. They had their own mental health issues, their own developmental issues, domestic violence issues. Daddy killed mom, or mom killed dad, or this kid was born in an autism spectrum and just too much to handle for a single parent on their own. So they take them somewhere and throw them away. I mean, all of these days, pill addictions. I mean, just all of it trickles down to the child, where the parents disappear, the child is left to defend for themselves. And then they're put into this system, and it's our job, the cute young ones, per se, get the first choice of adoption and foster. You know, because like the new car smell. And everybody wants a cute puppy. You know what I mean? Give me the infant. I mean, give me the toddler. So what we see is children up under the age of 6, they get placed very well. I mean, they find foster, they find adoption, or they may even find family. I mean, and you really don't have a huge disparity issue for that age group. But those individuals 7 and up, they are the ones left behind. I mean, so they don't have a home and any of that. So they're left to fend for themselves.
So, what ages do you have?
We deal with 7 to 21 and independent living as well.
Okay. So, how do group homes compare to foster families in terms of meeting children's needs?
Well, a foster parent is going to get paid a stipend, and all the children, usually 6 and below, they might request a different age group for themselves, but usually 6 and below, they get a certain stipend for monthly. They get food stamps for. They get all the Medicaid provided for, and they get some resources from the government to help take care of that child. And so they can continue in a foster capacity until they decide to adopt or never adopt. And in that situation, they have custody. In a group home situation, we are not custodial agents.
Okay.
We are only providers.
Okay. Got you. So what advice do you have for someone who wants to make a difference but isn't sure where to start?
I would say reach out to us. Reach out to us. GHMM1, the number one.com. Reach out to us. We're here to help. We're not going to gatekeep. We're going to show you the way. Our policies and procedures are national policies and procedures, which means they can be used in your state, not just in the state of Ohio. And follow us as we show this line. We're opening up doors. We're in various cities. We're working with different agencies and having those big meetings about how to change some things, because not only are we teaching, we are also advocating for different changes. The things that we are seeing are only continuing to grow and get larger and larger as the opioid and fentanyl epidemic grows. So grows the neglect and child placement. As the domestic violence and the divorce rate grows, so grows the placement. So all of these things trickle into your social services field. And so, yes, you do have to have empathy. Yes, you do need to be able to work well with others and play well with others. But this career field lane is widely available for individuals. It's not the sexy business, but a lot of money can be made in it from helping other individuals.
Okay. So, what are some long term goals for group home masterminds, and how do you envision expanding your impact nationwide?
Some of our long-term goals are just seeing ourselves on a national scale. I mean, and seeing us when you see me on a TED talk and giving this to the masses, then I'm gonna feel like, yeah, I actually doing something big and I made it. You know what I mean? Pulling my britches, like, you know what I mean. So that's the overall goal for me. Like, just being on a huge platform and sharing this with millions of individuals. I mean, that way everybody can hear it and no one can neglect it, So, because these individuals that's gonna be taking care of us,
Yeah,
and what we leaving them, like,
man, that
like
is
for
so
real.
true. Yes. And people don't realize
I
that, they don't. And they need to start seeing these youth as something more than just being troubled. If they ain't troubled, ask them what's wrong with them. Ask them questions, build a relationship with them, get them to trust you and actually be genuine about it. Cause a lot of people are, I feel like sometimes they really just selfish in it, and when it comes to youth, and
right.
they need to really seriously dive deep into them and understand them and their relationships, because everyone's upbringing isn't the same and everybody's mindset isn't the same. You just have to meet them where they at so you can actually build a relationship with them and be able to guide them on where they need to go, because our youth is our future, and who gonna take care of us?
Man, it's gonna be a jacked up country. I mean, at the rate we going, what they gonna
Yes,
do to twerkers in the health, like TikTokers in I don't know. It's just like where we lead them to, where the mentorships at,
yeah,
where the active men, not just the women. It's not just up to our black women, but I mean, where are black men at? Where what we doing out here, fellas? I mean, coaches is something, all of that wisdom and education and know-how can be passed down to somebody. Not everybody's just troubled and lost for no reason. Like, I mean,
yeah.
so I mean, I want people to look at that bigger picture too. Like, your neighborhood, because you ain't stepped up.
Yeah. And what's so crazy? I was telling one of my friends, when I was growing up, we seen like examples of doctors and lawyers and police officers, firefighters, nurses, teachers. Now it's like you see more of sports and influencers and rappers and singers and actress. It's like we need more people in the field, the people that really that can help us and get us healthy and get us going, keeping our everything together, and we need to show more influence in that in these platforms so that we can get it out there more and push it more, because a lot of kids aren't going to school for those things that are important that we will need in our future as well. Even sitting in Congress seats, and even having dreams of being a presidential elective or something like that.
All right.
Anything is possible, but it's just they're not thinking about becoming that anymore because we don't show that. So more or less having YouTube pages with millions of followers and getting 50K or more a month is more of something they rather do instead of actually getting in the field.
Right. None of those things are being shown, like you said. So, I mean, they're not looked upon as sexy. The welder job is not. The mechanic job is not. The engineering job is not. The contractor job is not. But at the same time, you still can make a six-figure salary, but nobody's telling it.
Yeah.
That plumber with his own business probably make as much as that doctor, but nobody's showing that. So those things are being lost. Those traits and those skills are being lost. And then what we gonna do? You can't
Yeah.
even get in there and fix nothing anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, hire out for everything or
I
buy it
know.
new again, but it broke. Yeah, I don't know how to fix it, so I'm gonna just go get another one. Like, come
Yeah.
on,
They
man.
barely want to cut the grass.
Man, see, I used
Yeah.
to carry that lawnmower and go house to house and beg my neighbors, like, or carry that shovel and be like, "Can I shovel your snow?" But that's all lost to these tablets. Like, so you just got a bunch of stuff that's broken. And I'm just saying, as the adult, we could be out here, at least for our part, fixing some stuff. I mean, we don't have to leave it that way. And you can, like I said, go to bed knowing that, hey, today I got paid for doing something good.
Mhm. Yep. So how can people get involved in supporting your mission whether or not they want to open up a group home?
They could go to our website as well. They could sponsor a group home for opening. They can someone of their choice or just a random individual on the list. They can donate to the cause. They can donate to any of the organizations that we have stated on our website and help them out that way. Become a mentor. I mean, and give a couple of hours out of their life towards a child, or they can join up ghmm1.com and become a group home owner and actually be out here boots on the ground doing it as well.
Okay. So where can listeners learn more about Group Home Minds and connect with you? Don't you guys have a
Definitely
podcast?
join our Yes, so definitely join our page, pound GH Masterminds. That's on both Facebook, uh, Instagram, and TikTok. Pound GH Masterminds with the S. And get on our page, join. We have free podcasts going on every Wednesday night, 6 to 7 p.m. We teach as much of the game as we possibly can for free during those, and we broadcast it live right off of our page. So if you just want a little bit more information or you want to hear about what's going on, you can link up with us, any of those social media pages, and listen to our free webinars. And just follow along. If you want more information as far as growing a business and learning step by step how to do this, then we have those classes that are available to you on our website. That is GHMM 1.com. That stands for Group Home Masterminds. So GHMM, the number 1.com. And you can sign up that way as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lidairious. This was like very informative. I learned a lot myself. So I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And once again, I apologize for Jamone's absence. Like I said, sometimes fires pop up.
It's cool. It's cool. Well, thank you, y'all, for tuning in to Life Her Podcast. Make sure you go onto our YouTube page and subscribe, and also subscribe on all major platforms audio.
Welcome to Life Her Podcast, the podcast that guides you from the 9-to-5 grind to the freedom of your own path. Discover how to conquer life's challenges while pursuing your passions with unwavering faith. Because being an entrepreneur is not easy. So let's get to it.